Good morning, and welcome to an episode of Family History with Chris. I'm Chris, and I will be here to help guide you. Um, Today, I wanted to uh, talk a little bit about um, y- special events and things like that. Um, there was a certain event that possibly most of you know uh, happened back in 2001 and like y- you know uh, i I want to say it without saying it, because who knows what would happen if I did say it. But a certain event back in 2001, many people know where they were at that time of that event and what uh, what they did. Now that's pretty interesting when you can get into journals. It's like, oh well, this person did this person did this. Um, so my story is I was on my mission at the time. It was a Monday, and uh, it was district meeting. It was what it was. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. It was probably a Tuesday, because Mondays were P days. uh, Tuesday, I was in Santa Rita, Venezuela at the time. My companion was a district leader. So uh, I remember that morning we had to go get a car and go down to Cabimas. That's where our zone was. My companion had a meeting to be at, district meeting or whatever. But on the way back, we're in this car, and then the guy had the radio on, and we start hearing things about, uh, this plane crashed into this building, and then uh, another plane crashed in Pennsylvania, and uh, and I really didn't think a whole lot of it. But uh, what I do remember is, like, we were coming into Santa Rita. There were a couple dogs that ran across, and then all of a sudden, I look back. It's like, oh no, the poor poor dog. The guy ran it over. It's like they didn't really care about the dog. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was serves the dog right for getting in the way. But yeah, felt bad. But anyway, that was a different story. But we go to one of our friends' house. Uh, someone who was helping us with the missionary work, and they had this TV, and we saw on the screen is like Estados Unidos bajo ataque. I'm like, that's funny. There's no way United States could be under attack or anything. So it didn't dawn on me until, or it didn't sink in until we saw the second plane go right into the other building. It's like, whoa, what's going to happen to us? And we don't watch TV or anything, so we're out in the roads, and everybody's like, "Did you see what happened? What's going to happen next?" It's like, you know more than we do. We don't get to watch TV, so uh, talking to people was a little hard because they were more focused on what was going to go on in the United States and stuff like that. So anyway, that's my story. And it's been like, what, 22, 23 years ago. Still remember it because it's an important date. So um, what I found fascinating was, in my spare time now, I'm just looking at people, and I found a guy that was a surgeon in the War of 1812. And that just kind of brings to life that person. It's like, oh, really? This is really cool. So let me see if I can find it. I just realized I brought something else up and um, on a different screen. Hold on just a moment. Okay, so as I remember, I think it was John Hatch, father of Jacob Hatch, who was a pioneer. Um, Now it looks like he lived between 1751 and 1826. So let's click on him. Uh, Two memories. And I, I thought it's kind of interesting. There's people doing work on these names all the time, and so things may change here and there. Just because you got to get it right, right? So, um, see notes for John Hatch, and why I think it was John Hatch is because I remember I have a kid named John, and uh, so it's like, hey, look, you were you were this in the War of 1812. It's like, okay, it's a big character. So here, 1775 military. John Hatch is probably the John Hatch that was a Minuteman. 19 of April 1775. He marched to Cambridge with 56 other men from Spencer, including Michael Hatch, his brother, under Captain Ebenezer Mason. Once at Cambridge, the group divided into about 3 different groups. Some went to Bunker Hill. Some served only 30 days. Well, 1775. Wait a minute. This would be the Revolutionary War, wouldn't it? Uh, okay. So here, the Battle of Bunker Hill. Here's some of my ancestors. Some served only 30 days. John was not at Bunker Hill. Okay, never mind. I guess I just need to read. He left with 8 other men from Spencer on June 17th for Boston. One of the men was Thomas Sprague, probably his sister's husband. On 24th of June, 1776, the town of Spencer voted emphatically that they do fully, freely, and solemnly engage with their lives and fortunes to abide by the support said Continental Congress for the safety of the United Colonies. History of Worcester County, and if I'm not saying this right, I'm sorry, but Massachusetts, BYU, oh yeah, and that's just where you can find the information. April 6, 1776, filed intent to marry in Berkeley, Bristol, Massachusetts. Uh, let's see here. 1st November 1776, enlisted August 31st, 1776, 75 miles traveled allowed to John as advance pay, Camp Hall. Um, and so basically, these are just notes from John Hatch. Let's see if we can go down to well, we only have in Butternut, Otsego, New York, see General Store Ledger and Baptist Church records above. I mean, it's just fascinating. It's like, so when, just reading about this Battle of Bunker Hill, I know that was an important one. My wife's a history teacher, and so she could probably tell me all about it. But now when I think of the Battle of Bunker Hill, it's like, oh yeah, I had an ancestor that was supposed to be there, but apparently he took off to Massachusetts or something. So kind of like going back to, those time points. Wars are important dates, like there's marriages, certain events that happen. I think it's fun to know. It's like, oh yeah, this is where I was. This is what happened here, and this is where my family is. It kind of gets more real, uh, learning about the history when you know where your family was at the time. And that's what I'm going to have for you today. Um, if you have any questions or any comments, any stories that are, um, let's. What I'd like to do is probably talk about the pioneers. I've got a couple other um, ideas I want to share with you first, um, but let's do that. I found, yeah, I'll explain in some more uh, videos, but uh, thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time. Thanks.